Hello everyone, this is a continuation of your quantum mechanical model of atom lesson class 11, and in this video we are going to see about the shapes of the orbitals and how electrons are arranged in each orbitals. So the shapes of an orbitals can be found out by using the Schrodinger wave equation. And in the Schrodinger wave equation, we have three polar coordinates r, theta, and phi. Okay, where the r of r is called as a radial wave function, and based on this radial wave function only we can find out the probability of finding an electrons in an orbital. Okay, so this radial distribution function, it gives the probability of finding an electron around the nucleus. So this is for s orbital. So a graph plotted a graph plot of 4 pi r square r of r square versus r is given here, and the first graph is for 1s orbital. So this is for your 1s orbital, and from this graph we can find out the maximum distance from the nucleus. So the distance at a distance of 0.5 Armstrong from the nucleus, we can find the electron, and the probability is maximum at that distance, and this distance is equals to the Bohr's radius for a hydrogen atom. Okay, and when we go for a 2s orbital, so when we go for a 2s orbital, we can find the peak in two areas. So first, initially we have one peak right there, and that distance the probability of finding an electron is maximum, and then it comes down, the graph comes down and it reaches almost zero. That is we cannot find any electrons there, and after that the probability increases. So the probability of finding an electron, that increases, and it reaches a peak and it comes down. So same way for a 3s orbital. Here we have three peaks like that, 1, 2 and 3, and this 0 point in the graph in 2s and 3s, it shows that there is a node there. Okay, there is a node between the orbitals. That 0 represents the nodal surface or a radial node, and for 2s we have one node, and for 3s we have two nodes. So that is two nodes or two radial nodes, and which can be given by the equation n minus L minus 1, where n is the principal quantum number, L is the azimuthal quantum number of the orbital. And next one is the angular distribution function. As I already mentioned, in a Schrodinger equation we have three functions. One is r of r, and another two, that r of r is the radial wave function, which gives the probability of finding an electron, and the next two function f of theta and g of phi, both are your angular distribution function, so which gives the orientation of orbitals. That is, in turn it gives the shape of orbitals, and if L is equals to 0, the orbital, we'll call that as a s orbital, and let's see the shape of the s orbital here. So look at this shape, and the for s orbital, if we solve the Schrodinger equation, it doesn't depend on any angle, that is theta or phi. So the electrons are in the shape of, so the electrons in the s orbitals or they are like a cloudy thing. Okay, and the shape of the s orbital is spherical since it doesn't depends on a angle theta or phi. So s orbital is spherical in shape and we have a nodal plane there. So look at this thing. So the electrons are distributed around the nucleus in a spherical form, and this first one is your 1s and this is your 2s. So we have a one nodal plane here. That is that nodal plane you cannot see any electrons there. And next this is your for your 3s. We have two nodes 1 and 2. Next one, shapes of p orbital. So p orbital, for a p orbital we have a three different orientation possible, and it is given as px, py and pz. And for p orbital we also have a nodal plane. So that is this one. This thing we'll call this as a nodal plane. So we have two nodes, one oriented to minus plus, another minus, and we have one nodal plane in between. So for p orbital we have a nodal plane. So for px this is a nodal plane, and for pz it is this one. Okay, so we have a one nodal plane in p orbital. So next one is a d orbital. So for d orbital we have two nodal planes, and the shape of a d orbital is clover shape, leaf-like shape. That is a clover leaf shape. Okay, and we have two nodal planes. So look at here. So this is one nodal plane and this is another nodal plane. For each d orbital we have two nodal planes, and we have 5 degeneracy in a d orbital. So next one, f orbital. And f orbital we have three nodal planes in a f orbital. Okay, we have three nodal planes in f orbital. Next one is the energies of an orbital. So if we know the principal quantum number, we can calculate the energy of that level. Okay, and according to this thing, the energy of various orbital can be written in the following order. So 1s greater than 2s. Since both principal quantum number are 2, we are considering that 2s is equals to 2p. And next, which is less than 3s, and which is equals to 3p, which is equals to 3d, which is less than 4s, all those things, and goes on. But this order is only applicable for single electron system like hydrogen or Li2 plus ions, like that. It is not applicable for a multi-electron system. For multi-electron system, the relative order of energies of various orbital is given by the formula n plus L. So the lower the value of n plus L for an orbital, the lower its energy. If two orbital has the same value for n plus L, the orbital which has a lower value of principal quantum number will have the lower energy. And let's see this thing. So look at these two pictures. Here we have values n plus 1 values of different orbitals, and look at this principal quantum number. Here for 2s orbital we have both. Here 2s also n is equals to 2, 2p is also n is equals to 2. But if we calculate according to this rule n plus L, the value comes to be for 2s comes to be 2, and for 2p it comes to be 3. So the least energy when compared to 2s and 2p, 2s has the lowest energy, and 2p as the highest energy. Okay, by using this rule n plus L, we can arrange the um, atomic orbitals based on the energy levels. So here also look here for 3s and 3d. So here 3s and 3d. So the principal quantum number is here 3 and here 4. But here according to n plus L rule, so the 4s has least number. So it has least energy when compared to this 3d. 3d has 5. So when comparing these two 3d and 4s, so while writing the order of increasing energy, we have to write first 4s, then 3d. So based on n plus 1 rule, the increasing order of energies of various orbital will be in the following order. So you can see this thing. First one is 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, then 4s, 3d and 4p. Okay. So next one is filling of orbitals. So filling of electron. So in an atom, the electrons are filled in various orbital according to the Aufbau principle, Pauli's exclusive principle and Hund's rule. So these three things has to be followed to fill an electrons in an atom. So first one, Aufbau principle. So the word Aufbau means building up. So it states that in the ground state of an atom, the orbitals are filled in the order of their increasing energy. What I mean by ground state is the electron with the slowest energy, that we'll call as a ground state. Okay, and this is the way to fill the electrons according to the Aufbau principle. First, so here the least energy orbital is 1s. So this we have to start from 1s. After filling 1s, we have to go to 2s, and after that 2p, 3s, then 3p, 4s, then 3d, 4p, 5s, then 4d, 4p, 6s, then 4f, 5d, 6p, 7s, then 5f, 6d, 7p. So likewise you have to go and fill the electrons in the orbit. So next one is a Pauli exclusion principle. So it states that no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of values for all quantum numbers. So look at here. Here the principal quantum number is same for all the electrons. Okay. So for n is equals to 2, that is a L shell, we can have maximum of 8 electrons, and for each electron there is some difference. They are not same, so they are unique. Each electron is unique in terms of its quantum number. First, look at the first electron. Your principal quantum number is 2, azimuthal quantum number is 0, magnetic quantum number is 0, spin quantum number is plus of. For the second electron, so same principal quantum numbers, same azimuthal, same magnetic, but it varies in the spin quantum number. Clear? So same way, so according to Pauli's rule, it states that no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of values of all 4 quantum numbers. So when we consider these 4 quantum numbers, there will be a difference in any one of the quantum numbers. So all electrons will be unique regarding their quantum number. Next, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So it states that electron pairing in the degenerate orbit does not take place until all the available orbitals contains 1 electron each. So look at here. So what you have to do is, So for 1s we have 1 degeneracy, 2s 1, and 2p, for p orbital we have 3 levels. So 2px, 2py, and 2pz. So while filling an electron, so in the 1s level there is only one, there is no degeneracy. So if you have 2 electrons, we have to fill up both in the same orbital. So same way for this 2s electron also. And after filling this, we have a two more electron. So that is the electronic configuration for here we are taking example is 6. Okay, so after filling 4 electron, we have 2 electrons. So first we are filling 1 electron in the 2px orbital, and we are left with one more electron. That electron we have to fill in the next degeneracy level. We should not pair up until all the degeneracy orbital contains one electron each. So after all the degeneracy level has filled up with one electron only, we can start the pairing. Okay, so this is the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So this way of filling is correct, and here we have two empty one. So before filling up these two with one electron, we are pairing up. So this way of filling the electron is incorrect. Okay. So next one, electronic configuration of atoms. So the distribution of electron into various orbital of an atom is called its electronic configuration, and it is written as n into, it is written as nlx. So where n is a principal quantum number, L is designation of orbital with whether it belongs to s orbital or p orbital or d orbital or f orbital, and s is the number of electron present in that orbital. So look at here. So I have given an example for neon. Its atomic number is 10. So neon atomic number is 10. So the electronic configuration is written here. Look at here. It has written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. So 1 represents the principal quantum number, and that s represents the azimuthal quantum number. So it gives the orientation, and 2 represents the number of electron in that orbital. Okay, so this is a way to write the electronic configuration of atom. Next, stability of half-filled and completely filled orbitals. So when we fill the electrons, so the atoms which has completely filled is more stable, and then the atoms with half-filled orbitals is also more stable. Okay, so here look at this example for chromium. Atomic number is 24. So expected configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d4, 4s2. But the actual configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d5, and 4s1. So why it is like this is, so if it is 4s1, it becomes half filled, and 3d5 is also half filled. Okay, a d orbital can have maximum of 10 electrons. So s orbital can have maximum of 2 electrons, p orbital can have maximum of 6 electron, and d orbital can have maximum of 10, and the half filled for d is 5. So if it comparing 3d4 and 3d5, 3d5 is half filled and it is more stable. Same way here the 4s2. So this one electron from this 4s orbital is exchanged to this d orbital, and this compound became more stable here. So same way for copper, whose atomic number 29. So the expected configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d9, 4s2. But the actual configuration seems to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and 3d10. So instead of 9, we have 3d10. That becomes a fully filled configuration. So that becomes more stable. So one electron from 4s2 is exchanged to the d orbital to increase the stability. So next one, symmetrical distribution of electrons. So always symmetry leads to stability. So the half-filled and fully filled configuration have symmetrical distribution of electrons, and hence they are more stable than unfilled or unsymmetrical configuration. So look at here. So for p orbital, half filled is 3 p3 and completely filled is 6 electron. And for d orbital, half filled d5 and fully filled d10. And f orbital, half filled 7, fully filled 14. So if this orbital contains these number of electrons, it will be more stable and compared to the other configuration. And this is a symmetrical distribution of electron, and this is a orientation of electrons in the p orbital. Okay, so this is the shape of the degenerate p orbital, and you can look at this, how the electrons are revolving around this thing. So this is a degeneracy level of p orbital. The p orbital is dumbbell shaped, and you have three levels: px, py, and pz level. And you can see the electrons in three degeneracy level. So next one is the exchange energy. So if two or more electrons with the same spin are present in the degenerate level, there is a possibility of exchanging their position. Okay, so that is, so during this exchange process, energy is released, and that energy will call as a exchange energy. And look at here. So here this is your d orbital, 1 2 3 4 5 degeneracy level. Okay, so this is a d orbital, and in this d orbital, all the 5 electrons are in the same spin. Okay, and they can, so they there is a possibility of exchange of their position. So this electron can go and exchange its position here, and it can go and exchange here, so it can exchange here. So during this process, during this exchange, energy is released, and then that energy will call as a exchange energy. Okay, and more number of exchange is possible if there is in the case of a half filled and fully filled configuration. So in the half filled and fully filled configuration only, we can expect a more number of exchanges. Yeah, so the exchange energy is basis for Hund's rule, and which allows maximum multiplicity. That is, electron pairing is possible only when all the degenerate orbitals contain one electron each. Here, look at this thing. So here, how many exchanges are possible for this electron is 4 exchange. That is, it can go here 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 exchanges by the electron, and here it is 2 exchanges. So if we look at this electron, it will go here and here. So 2 exchanges are possible here. and for this one exchange is possible. So one exchange. Yeah. So that only represented by the arrow mark. So thank you. I'll continue. We'll meet you. I'll will meet you in the next lesson. Thank you.